Welcome back, folks, to the Get a Grip on Lighting. That's right, Greg Eric chickened out of this one. That's right, no Greg Eric. He's gone. We don't need him anyway. Who the hell is that guy? But on today's show, I got Tommy Ciurczak. That's right. He's back, BLC, the chairman of the board of BLC and Green Energy Lighting. I'm going to talk to him just about light bulbs and where the hell this industry is going and the what's the right word? The hypocrisy of sustainable talk in lighting right now. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we do, we got to go to satco.com. That's right, Satco. I think they're one of the most sustainable companies in the industry, actually, because they sell everything. They have all the supplies, all the maintenance gear, everything you need. So go to satco.com, and of course, they're members, and I'm a member, and Tom's a member of the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors, where people actually know stuff about lighting. That's right. So go to naild.org if you think you know stuff about lighting. What's happening, Tommy Ciurczak? What do you got, buddy?
Hey man, what a fantastic warehouse they had in Texas when we went on that tour of their warehouse.
Satco, yeah.
I
Ooh.
I was, I was blown away by how much inventory that they had in that warehouse.
Yeah, I
And
mean, it's a
there
serious
you go.
company. Yeah. Listen,
There's a plug.
most people don't realize Satco's a big company. They got a lot of warehouses. They got a lot of stuff in stock. If you're a lighting distributor, Satco's a good relationship to have. Listen, Tom, we got started right away as soon as we got hot when we came in together. What's happening in your mind? We just interviewed another NAILD member about maintenance engineering and the problems with resupplying lighting into the market. And it's almost going to be impossible in the next 5 to 10 years to resupply fixtures. What are your thoughts?
I think the whole thing hasn't been thought out real well. Um, this whole concept, and I just got your Nailed magazine that just landed, right? This whole concept that LEDs are last forever, huh, talk about the big lie. Every 3 years or thereabouts, you're gonna have to rip everything out and change it. You do with everything else that's electronic. It's not gonna talk to the new electronic stuff. It's not gonna be as good as the new stuff. And you just can't spot replace any LED lamp. You gotta take everything out and replace the whole thing. So what they were trying to tout as being, this big low cost saver for everybody, I think your cost in lighting is going to go way up only because of the replacement costs that you're going to have to deal with on a constant basis.
Most
Now,
people,
not for the homeowner. I think the homeowners will just live with it. But businesses is going to be a big deal.
I don't think the homeowners are going to live with it either. And I'm going to pull him out for the third time, Scott Griffin, because I think it's important, okay? He's going to get after me. He says I repeat myself too much. But here's an LED under cabinet light. LED. Here's a fluorescent LED.
Hmm.
It's fluorescent under cabinet light. You can replace the bulb. Both have a ballast on board or a driver on board. Same manufacturer, okay? Different electrical plugs to plug into. Okay, so it
Of
doesn't
course.
matter. It doesn't matter that the driver's on board. All we want to be able to do is take this fixture off because I can't buy the tube for this anymore and put this fixture in and plug it in. No, we got to rip the whole cabinet out, Tom Ciurczak.
Sure. Of course.
That's ridiculous.
Hey, I just don't think the whole thing is everything is being rushed into the marketplace. We're getting the same thing in the United States with, the electric cars are going to be rushed into the marketplace, and I just think you're going to have all kinds of issues because of the speed of change is starting to happen. Not that I don't think that the change is inevitable. I do think change is inevitable, but I don't think we should be outlawing existing technology so to like goose up the speed in which new technology comes into the market. You're asking for problems, and we're seeing the problems. I mean, look at all of the crazy ballast matching problems we had early on with LEDs and
Still
fires and
happening.
you name it.
Sure.
I mean, it's insane. We saw the same thing with lasers going into the movie theaters. Oh, we're going to replace xenon lamps with lasers, and that's going to be, oh my God, that's turned out to be a nightmare. Nobody realized that these blue phosphor lasers, the phosphor would wear. You would think they would have realized it with some of the other applications we've used, phosphor on, and you've seen degradation of phosphor. We saw it with LEDs, right?
Mm-hmm.
They started to degrade. What happens when they degraded? They would start to shift color. Same thing's happening with the movie projectors. So now they're going to have to leave the blue phosphor lasers and move to RGB lasers. And I'm just using this as an example because there's a lot of different industries that are going through the analog to digital type of change, which is what I like to refer to it as. And
I have a
you know,
projector in my basement in my I have a movie theater in my basement.
yeah,
I'm going to sound like a real asshole now, but yeah, I got a movie theater in my basement. So, anyway, there's this projector on the ceiling and it has this metal halide lamp inside of it. Okay, and the metal halide lamp costs like $700. But you know what? You put that metal halide lamp in there and it makes a really nice picture for about 250 hours. Maybe less than that. Maybe, I don't know if it's 150 hours, Tom. But you know what? After that, if you push the I replaced the lamp button on that projector, you can tell that it really degrades the value of the picture over time. And so you need to replace that lamp. And every time you replace it, resets back to 100. That the projector is
correct,
back to 100. But maybe there's some dust on a little bit of dust gets inside into some of the optics or whatever, but it goes back to 99 or whatever. With LEDs, you can't do that. There's nothing you can do that with LEDs. There's no way to do that with
correct,
these lasers and LEDs.
correct, correct. It's at least now that they're going to address these issues and they'll solve these issues. But the the problem I have is you're not going to have a choice. And the fact that they take choice away from you is the part that really bothers me. I think we should let the market die a natural death. I
Mm.
don't believe we should goose it. And what we're doing, or what the government is doing, is they're goosing goosing it
But the question
for
I'd be
lack of
is,
a
can
better
they
term.
goose it? Can they goose it? I don't know if they
They
can goose it.
they they are, and you know what? It is already a self-fulfilling prophecy because as the LEDs have coming into the market, the part suppliers for lamps are going out of business. As
Yeah.
the part suppliers to make lamps are going out of business, you're dead anyways. You're not going to be able to make any of these light bulbs because it's an economy of scale type of thing. If you're not making the volumes, these guys can't supply the parts, or whatever parts that are supplied are going to be skyrocketing in
Mm.
price because it's going to be smaller numbers.
Not only that, though, is sometimes you call some of these companies and you can't find anyone that knows anything about the products that they sell.
Uh, well, that's just because we're getting older.
No, but I'll call somebody at like a major manufacturer and I want to talk to them about their line of CFL ballasts, okay? Because there's lots of them out there, okay? These CFL ballasts, like, listen, I'm not trying to say we should readopt CFL. I'm just going to ask some questions about if you have any. They don't even know what you're talking about. They don't know
So
what you're,
so
but
this
they
goes.
might have them in stock. They might have them in stock if you give them the right order code, but nobody knows what you're talking about.
Well, so this goes back to my musical background, and one of my musical heroes was Frank Zappa.
Oh, God.
And
Okay.
Frank Zappa had a quote, and his quote was, "The number one element in the universe is not hydrogen; it's stupidity." And
Bullshit.
that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with.
It's funny. There's nothing better than listening to a politician talk about lighting. Like it's so ridiculous when they talk about it, or like somebody talk about it, like that's like energy efficiency, but they don't know anything about lighting. It's like you have no idea what you're talking about. Actually, you have no idea.
It does
Like
separate. It
like let's celebrate because we made the mercury lamps illegal. You're an idiot.
Well, first of all, they're going to discover at some point that when they have to, recycle LEDs, and you can totally recycle light bulbs. You
Sure.
can't totally recycle LEDs.
No,
They're
it's the
going to start to
e-waste.
find all kinds of nasty stuff in LEDs. I mean, it's a gallium arsenide product, which means that there's arsenic in LEDs, right? So they've done tests at some of these universities, UC Irvine, where I live, early on, where they would pulverize and they would put a compact fluorescent in solution, and they do the same thing with an equivalent
Sure.
LED, and
Sure.
it was just as much arsenic in solution as there was mercury in
Well,
solution
listen,
from an
listen,
LED
listen.
versus a compact
Tom,
fluorescent.
Tom,
So
Tom.
wait a minute,
Okay.
wait a minute, you gotta let
Okay.
me get to the punchline.
Okay. Get
The
to the punchline.
punchline, my punchline has always been, hey, listen, pick. Pick your toxic, your neurotoxin. If you want to die from mercury, go with lamps. You want to die from arsenic, go with LEDs. You're still going to get neurotoxins.
But you know what? You know what bothers me more than anything else is like the way that people talk about mercury containing light bulbs. Okay, 22 years ago, the CFL was going to save the environment. Okay, you used to have people that wanted to be associated with energy efficiency. They would put a picture of a CFL because that was like a symbol of energy efficiency and greenness and all sort of stuff, right? But it's like, do you think the people, when they invented the fluorescent light bulb 75 years ago, were like, let's pollute the world with mercury? They had no idea what they were making. And it was great, and it didn't violate any laws, and, it made light really cheap. And then at the end of it, 40, 50 years later, we realized that there's actually a lot of mercury in this. We should probably recycle these light bulbs. And so they started recycling them and whatever, And now the people that make LEDs, they think we got a free license to make all kinds of claims that we have no idea are true or not. And that one of those claims is that there's no hazardous waste in lighting. Well, you know what? The guys that made mercury-containing light bulbs 75 years ago, Tom, they would have made the same claim. And they would have felt great about it. And they would have rolled it out. And the hubris and the cockiness of the lighting industry is ridiculous to me, Tom. There you go.
Well, I kind of laugh about the whole thing. But, the whole thing is a series of trade-offs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And will the trade-off give you a better situation? I mean, yeah, we're using mercury, and yeah, mercury has some pollutants to the environment. But by using mercury lamps, are we reducing the overall pollution to the environment? And the answer at the time from the big lighting industry was, yeah, we're bringing down that carbon footprint. And the same thing is going to be the answer when we talk about LEDs and the pollutants from LEDs. Yeah, we're bringing down the carbon footprint.
The societal benefits of LEDs outweigh the pollution caused by them. It was like the CFL, the mercury in CFLs, is less worse than the energy consumed by the 60-watt A19. So we're going to make the switch.
That's the macro argument.
Yes.
But they're not paying attention to all these other variables that are going on. They're trying to limit the variables just to this aspect, and they're measuring it that way. Is it true? Who the hell knows? Look back at history and go, what the hell were we thinking? But all we can do in this industry is we have to roll with the punches. We have to be smarter than everybody else.
Yes, we have to get control of the industry, Tom. Lighting people have to get control of the industry.
But you nailed it earlier, right? Basically, you can't talk to anybody at companies, or very rarely can you talk to anybody within companies that can give you a lot of details. I have a lot of fun. I go to Home Depot and I'm constantly helping people pick lights. I just stand there and I'm like, no. What? Not you're picking a cool white and a warm white. You can't put both of those in the ceiling in your kitchen. You got to stick with the. You can't go with a flood cool white and a spot warm white. What are you doing? But they don't know. Nobody even knows how to read the packaging. They have no idea what the changes are.
Well, you know what there's a chronic lack of lighting knowledge. That's a truism. There's no sense.
Well,
there's not enough people that know enough about lighting. And
we think we've passed it. We think we've passed this knowledge to the consumer. We think that we're being very clear to the consumer. We as industry people think that we're putting it on the package and it's very clear. But to somebody who is a novice that doesn't understand lighting, it's like reading legalese. It's like reading stuff on, when you go and get your prescription drugs and you're looking at that insert that they give you, you have no idea what it's saying.
Tom,
and that's what we're giving them.
On this podcast, you know how many people in the last 5-6 years of doing podcasts, and I've done like many hundreds of podcasts on lighting. If you consider the live stream, the Light Ted, the Get a Grip on Lighting has 300 episodes, Restoring Darkness, all these different shows. You know how many people I've said that I've heard have said to me, we need to educate the consumer? And I say to them, no, we need to educate the damn lighting industry first. Before we educate the consumer, we need the people that sell this stuff to know what the hell's going on.
No. I agree with you. Circling it back as to what I was saying is the one advantage that we have in this industry still is knowledge, and we've got to make sure that that is our strong point, is the knowledge of the products that we're selling and our competitors are selling and the way that the industry is moving forward.
Yes.
That knowledge is our biggest advantage. It's staying alive in this industry.
Yeah,
because
totally agree.
Otherwise we're going to all get squeezed out.
Yeah,
and we're
for
going to
sure.
get squeezed out. We're going to get squeezed out and the Martians are going to run it.
Yeah, or the Chinese. I mean, I hate to say it. You know what I mean? Like, basically,
I think
there's
the
no
Martians are going to beat the Chinese, no doubt about it. Martians are coming.
Well, listen, you and Elon Musk can hit the Martians. Listen, you can get his. He's got a good album. Tom Ciurczak and the Hip Replacements. Isn't that the name of your band? Tom Ciurczak and the Hip Replacements.
It really should be that. I should be calling it the Deadbeats or something to that effect, right?
Tom Ciurczak and the Geriatrics, live in concert.
And the Jerry, I love it. That's a perfect name. No, but listen, if you would get on Facebook, if you would get on Instagram, I can understand that all you like to do is be on TikTok. Well, get off TikTok.
I'm not on TikTok either. Ask my producer. I don't even know what. I call it Talk half the time. So, folks, that's Tom Ciurczak.
That's what saying.
This show is brought to you by Satco. That's right, the gangsters. SATCO.com, Satco, the Light Thing, Right Thing, and the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors. You think you're hot shit? You know something about lighting? Join Nailed to find out if you do or not. Bye for now.
Welcome back, folks, to the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast. It's my pleasure to be joined by the industry's number one troublemaker, Tom Ciurczak. He's here today. Tom, listen to me, man. We don't want any complaining. We don't want any trouble out of you.
No complaints.
All right? You're on a short leash. But before you do, you got to go to NALD.org, join Nailed. Tom, what do you want dragging me in here?
Okay,
to my own
so
studio?
here's the thing, and I realize it's very important. You need to save the best for last.
Sure.
Right, which is why I'm on right now.
That's why I'm kicking you out.
No, this is why I'm here right now. You're saving the best for last. And not only am I the best-known person in the lighting industry, having run and built Osram, and then built Ushio for 25 years, and then built BLC, and been a member of NAIL since 1984, but let's not dwell on that. The more important thing is the musical career that we've developed. Now, I've had a lot of musicians copying me over the years, most notably Bruce Springsteen, John Mellencamp, John Fogerty. I'm not one to start causing trouble with IP and stuff like that, like other people in this industry might.
So you actually wrote Born in the USA?
I wrote something very, very similar, and, that's where he got the idea.
What about Hurt So Good? Is that your song, too?
Again, something very similar. So what I did, and you're going to appreciate this, is I've recorded the...
Jack and Diane, that's yours, too?
Again, Diane was Jack and whatever. So let me tell you, seriously, we did a follow-up album now to Call Me Ishmael.
Yeah.
And it's called Never Growing Up, which, as you can tell from our back and forth joking here, that I ain't ever growing up. And on this album, I'm going contrarian to the industry in that we're going to have 16 songs. Where everybody else is releasing EPs, I'm going to release 16 songs. And we went out and I used some of the best musicians. For instance, Mellencamp's drummer, right, Kenny Aronoff, he plays drums on the album. Phil Collins, percussionist. Richie Agate, he's playing percussion.
Look, I'm going to tell the listeners right now. What Tom is talking about, he has a side hustle where he produces music.
Not produce.
Writes.
I write it, I arrange it, I record it, and then I go out and I'm performing right now. You can catch me in Southern California right now, but we're going to be taking it on the road when this new album is released.
And the most important thing you got to know is that I have the album Call Me Ishmael, and I love the album. I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't really like Tom that much. He's kind of a jerk.
But I do like you, Michael.
But I love the album. It's an amazing album, actually. It's a great rock album.
But I like you.
Me too.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either, Tom, but Yeah. So you're putting out a new album.
Putting out a new album. It's in the mixing and mastering stages right now. We have a slew of phenomenal musicians, and this one has probably got 6 or 7 really great singles. I'm going to release them all as singles prior to releasing the album, which seems to be the right thing to do for the streaming Spotify generation right now. But we go through, a lot of different styles. I mean, you're going to hear everything from rockabilly to prog music to good old-fashioned rock and roll, stuff that nobody does anymore.
What I liked about the first album, that Call Me Ishmael, and I liked, actually, Christmas album was good too. I'm not going crazy over it, but the Christmas album was good too.
Thank you.
We played it a little bit at my house at Christmas, actually.
Really? Thank you.
Yeah. So, but that song that you wrote, Strung Out, that's actually a special song in my life. It's special to me.
You like that?
Yes.
We have a follow-up song that's very similar, another like lounge jazz song on this album. It's called Lie to Me.
That song, Strung Out, and if you want to go Call Me Ishmael, I think it's the 5th track or the 6th track on the album.
Yeah, it's right there. I think it's the 5th track.
It's the 5th track. It is such a good tune. I mean, that song should be played everywhere on the airwaves. It's so good. It's a special song to me. Tom, that's what the lighting industry, it's about personalities, and you're one of them. And you have a personality. You're someone special.
Thank you.
And I'm very happy to be working with you and see you again, Tom. And what do you have any final thoughts for the Get a Grip on Lighting listeners out there?
I thought we had a great trade show so far.
Except that you complained to everybody, but that's okay.
Well, I complained about some of the content of the trade show, but I thought that the overall planning for this show was exceptional. And I talked to Aaron about some of the things I thought could be improved upon. I talked to Greg about some of the things I thought could be improved upon. Because I do believe primarily the center of the universe for Nailed is lighting. And so we shouldn't drift too far off the path of lighting and where the lighting industry is headed.
There was a mistake between session 1 and 2. They kind of melded together, and that unfortunately ended up dominating the show, if ever in the beginning. But other than that, it was a great convention. I agree. I'm very happy to see you again, my man.
Thank you.
Go to NILD.org. Check out his album, Call Me Ishmael. What's the new one called?
It's going to be called I Ain't Ever Growing Up. Check out TomCiurczak.com, and please follow me on Spotify. I need to improve my followers, improve the algorithm.
Ciurczak.
Oh yeah,
Nobody knows how to spell Ciurczak.
I thought everybody could spell it, but I found out that was a mistake. It is spelled Ciurczak.
So weird, Tom Ciurczak. Weird spelling name. Go to NALD.org. One of my favorite albums, Call Me Ishmael, track number 5, Strung Out. There's a bunch of good ones on there. Thanks for listening, folks. Bye for now.
The days are rushing by so fast, yet I feel like I'm standing still. Need to slow them down and turn it on. Gotta find a brand new thrill. I'm tired of this same old bar, staring at that empty tip jar. Maybe we could just deal a card in time we could get away. Let's head on down for something new. Is another time fades in the review, and I'm never turning back. No, I'm never going back. Well, I tried my best, but it just gets worse, so I leave it to the universe, and I don't know what it's got in store for me and you. Oh, next. Racing up the thruway, headed for Montreal. Only made it partway before the engine began to stall. Stopped by the nearest liquor store, took all the money from the cash drawer, tied the clerk up, left him on the floor, stole his truck and drove away. So we're headed now for some I heard the sound of something moving outside at 4 a.m. I looked outside my window. There's only 6 of them. It's nothing I've never seen before. State troopers knocking at my